be back here in the Keystone State, and you all are so welcoming, so patriotic here also. And I know that we have patriots here in the crowd, especially those of you who have served this country in uniform in the past or today. Raise your hand if you're a veteran. We want to honor you. Those of you who have served, raise your hand so we can thank you, sir. Thank you for our freedom. Thank you for allowing us to be here today. Service and your sacrifice. So it is so good to be here tonight on the campus that Joe Paterno calls home. And I hope if he won't mind if we call him Joe the Coach, as we talk about the different Joes in the audience. I saw a cool sign out there. Brett the Carpenter we saw, and we saw one the other night. I am Joe Mama, and you all know about Joe the plumber, so we're going to talk a little bit about him in a bit. But here at Penn State, you know the value of a seasoned leader with experience and with guts, because last weekend, when the Lions were down, the game was on the line. Coach Paterno knew how to lead your team to a comeback win, and that's exactly what we need you to help us do on next year. Pennsylvania, are you ready to help us carry your state to victory? Are you ready to make John McCain the next president of the United States? Are you ready to send us to Washington to shake things up for you? Okay, so let me start with a little update on our opponent's economic plan and ideology. A little bit of lesson here. And you probably know the story so far already by now, but after all the big speeches Barack Obama has given, and after all of that evasive talk about the tax increases that he plans, it took Joe the plumber from Toledo, Ohio, to get our opponent to finally come to the point Barack Obama said he wants to spread your wealth around. In other words, he thinks it's your job to earn the wealth and his job to spread it around. Now, he calls that spreading the wealth. Joe Biden calls higher taxes patriotic, and to Joe the plumber, he said to him, it sounds like socialism. In fact, it was so troubling that in a recent interview, Joe Biden tried to deny that his running mate actually believed in spreading your hard-earned money around. But now we know that this is actually a long-held view of Barack Obama's. Just the other day, tape was revealed from an interview back in 2001. This tape turned up, and there he was talking about, even back then, the need for, quote, redistributive change. And Senator Obama said that he regretted that the Supreme Court hadn't been more radical. And he described the court's refusal to take up the issues of redistribution of wealth as a tragedy. And he said that he regretted that the Supreme Court did not break free from the essential constraints that were placed by the founding fathers in our Constitution. So, with that, is that a suggestion he'd want to rewrite the founding document of our great nation to accomplish his goals? And what does that say? What does that say about his ideas on future Supreme Court justices? But that was his quote. There he was, Barack Obama, speaking in one of those rare moments when the real ideology starts coming through, and it makes you wonder, how did they pull that out from him? It's almost like the interviewer was Joe the plumber himself. Sometimes in politics, it's those candid little moments that give us the whole picture. That's what says it all. but our opponent's ideological commitment to spread your wealth around has been tried in other societies, and the only thing it ever spreads is scarcity and poverty and bureaucracy, and it stifles the entrepreneurial spirit that made this the country, the greatest country on earth. Yes. Obama of something else. When judges don't confiscate your property or your hard-earned money and then redistribute them, he may call that a tragedy, but a whole lot of the rest of us, we call that fairness and adherence to our Constitution. And Pennsylvania, government, and if you believe in the free and fair and uniquely American system that our founding fathers created, if you believe in protecting every one of our constitutional rights, and if you believe that jobs are created not by spreading your hard-earned money, but by spreading opportunity by the hard work of free men and women, help this country prosper by electing John McCain as our next president. Our country is facing some pretty tough times right now. We are in tough economic times, and now more than ever, we need someone tough as president. We need a leader with experience and courage and good judgment and truthfulness. We need someone with a bold and a free and a fair plan to take this country in a new direction. We need John McCain now. John and I will help our families keep their homes because we're going to clean up the corruption and the greed on Wall Street that brought us the housing crisis to start with. We're going to help our retirees, those esteemed elders in our nation, those who have built our homes, built our families and our communities. They worked so hard for these investments, our elders did, and then they trusted others to manage those dollars for them. And because of greed and corruption, they're forced today to worry about that. They will be secured, and we're going to help all of us to afford good health care, and we're going to help our students afford college, and we're going to help will get this country back on the right track because it is a pro-private sector, pro-growth agenda. What we do is lower your income taxes and double your child tax deduction credit. Yes, for every family. John will double the child tax deduction for every family, and he'll cut the capital gains tax. And did you know today the U.S. business tax is the second highest tax in the world? Why do we think corporations, companies are moving overseas? It's cheaper to do business there. We will cut that business tax to keep American businesses in America. When it comes to taxes, you have a real choice on November 4th, and I want to talk about this for a minute because our opponent is not being candid with you about his tax increase plans, and it is not mean-spirited and it is not negative campaigning to call someone out on their record, their plans, or their associations. To call them out on their record, and we're going to do it because it's in fairness to you, to the voters. And John and I, we have a very basic and fundamental disagreement with our opponents on this issue. Senator Obama has an ideological commitment to higher taxes, and though it seems that he adjusts that tax plan pronouncement nearly every day now, flip-flopping around on the details, but his commitment to higher taxes never changed, and you just have to look at his record. He voted 94 times. Get up here and help me out. Barack Obama, he voted 94 times for higher taxes, even on hard-working middle-class Americans making $42,000 a year. He had 94 chances to be on our side, and 94 opportunities he took to be on the side of bigger, more enforcing, more forceful government instead of being on our side. And now he's committed to almost $1 trillion more in new spending. He won't tell you where those dollars will come from, though, to pay for those proposals. Gotta come from higher taxes. So you can either do the math or you just go with your gut. Either way, you can draw the same conclusion. Barack Obama is for bigger government and higher taxes. And you have to really listen to our opponent's words through all of this. Here are the nuances that he chooses even, the words. He says now that he's for a tax credit, which is when government takes more of your money to give away to someone else according to a politician's priorities. And John McCain and I, we are for a real tax cut, which was when the government just takes less of your earnings in the first place. Yes. Is just more big government, and big government is the problem. That's not any solution. John and I have the complete opposite commitment in all of this. Instead of taking more of your money and spreading your wealth, we will spread opportunity so that you can create new wealth. We'll bring tax relief to every American and every business because we know that the small businesses are the backbone of our country's economy. Yes. Here in Pennsylvania, knowing that you are the backbone of the state's economy too, we're going to let you keep more of what you earn and produce so that you can hire more people. That's how jobs are created. That's how the economy rolls along. Yes. See, we do not think that government should take more. We think bureaucracy should do more with less so that you can prosper and thrive. You should not be working for government. Our government should be working for you. Share that commitment. We need your vote on November 4th, because if the big government spenders control the House and the Senate, and heaven forbid the White House too, they're going to have a monopoly of power in Washington, D.C. The Obama-Pelosi-Reid agenda, that agenda, Obama-Pelosi-Reid, it would put America on a path that erodes the strong work ethic that made this country great. So Pennsylvania, I need us to work together on this to fight for what is right and free and uniquely American. Yes. First and puts his trust in you, not in bigger government. We need you to get out there and vote early and elect John McCain, the next president of the United States. economy back on the right track. We've got to lower taxes, and we're going to confront, too, the $10 trillion debt that the federal government has run up. $10 trillion that we're expected to hand on to you, the next generation of Americans. That's not going to happen. It's not right. It's not fair. On our watch, it will not happen. John and I will impose a spending freeze to cover all but the most vital functions of government. Federal budget by the end of our first term, and you can count on us to follow through on our promises because we are the only candidates in this race with a track record of reform. We have not been just talking the talk. John and I both have walked the walk. John McCain hasn't been known as just the patriot in the Senate. He's been known as the maverick because he's had to take on the wasteful spending and abuses of power and the corruption of special interests, and he's got the scars to prove it. And as president, he's going to end those abuses once and for all. He truly is the maverick. Let's put the maverick of the Senate in the White House. Record too, so you know where I'm coming from. As a mayor up in Alaska, I eliminated personal property taxes and eliminated small business inventory taxes and cut and eliminated and reduced to all these other taxes and fees that were just hampering growth. And we made our town a place where businesses could grow and thrive, and that works. Our community just took off. And as governor then, I had to get in there and take on the Good Old Boy Network to fight corruption. And you come out of that with scars too. But fighting corruption up there, and I put the veto pen to nearly $500 million in wasteful spending. And that's why in some circles, some special interests, I'm not Miss Congeniality winner in some of those circles up there, but I did what I had to do for the people whom I was serving. We suspended our state fuel tax, and now we're returning a chunk of our state surplus right back to the people of Alaska. It's their money, and they can spend it better than government can spend it for them. Approaches. We got back to basics. We put government back on the side of the people, and John and I, we will use that same common sense approach to reform Washington. It is time, and we will never forget that we are accountable to the people who hired us. We'll be there to work for you, the people of America. Will you hire us? Will you send us to Washington to shake things up and clean things up? Yes. We cannot wait to get to work for you. Now, I know that here in Pennsylvania, it's a lot like home for me in Wasilla. Here in Pennsylvania, I know we don't quite know what to make of a candidate who lavishes praise on working people when they're listening and then talks about how they, quote, cling to their religion and guns bitterly when those people aren't listening. We tend to prefer candidates who don't talk about us one way in Pennsylvania and then another way maybe in California. As for John McCain, I guarantee you can be certain that wherever he goes, whoever is listening, he is the same man. And that's because John is his own man, and he doesn't run with the Washington herd. Just look at how he stood tall and he stood apart from that herd when it came to the war in Iraq. It was John McCain who called for a new strategy rather than defeat. And against great political pressure and members of his own party, he fought for the surge strategy that now has us winning in Iraq. And when critics said it would cost him politically, they said it was going to cost him, and instead he said, no, I'm going to put personal interests aside. I'm putting the country first. He said he'd rather lose an election than see his country lose a war. John served our nation in uniform for 22 years, 5.5 years as a POW. Tested after these 5.5 years as a POW. He has met this great adversity in his own life and in service to his country, and he knows how tough challenges are overcome, and he will not wave a white flag of surrender to the terrorists, and he will not, as Barack Obama did, support cutting off funding for our troops over in the war zone. John McCain knows how to win a war, and as the mother of one of the troops in Iraq today, he's exactly the kind of man I want as Commander-in-Chief. John will support our troops, and we will win the war. And speaking of national security also, we have got to get our country firmly on a path towards energy independence for national security reasons. I'm going to talk more about this tomorrow in more detail because I think our opponents want to turn the page on this one and not talk about they say no to the domestic solutions that have been proposed to get us firmly on that path towards energy independence. We've got to develop new energy sources. We'll tap into what we've already got, our oil, our clean natural gas, and our coal, but our energy plan, it's going to create hundreds of thousands of new jobs here in America instead of the jobs being overseas where we go to foreign countries circulating hundreds of billions of US dollars today, asking foreign countries to ramp up development for ours. Some of these companies and countries over there do not necessarily like America. They do not have our interests at heart. They use energy as a weapon. They can cut off supplies when they want to. This is a very dangerous position for our nation to be in. We must become energy independent. We need to adopt an all-of-the-above approach to meet America's great energy challenges. Sources like wind and solar and biomass and geothermal, and we've got to develop clean coal technology, and we will safely drill for those billions of barrels of oil that we have. We'll drill here, we'll drill now. Drill, baby, drill. That's right. Because it is for the sake of our nation's security and our economic prosperity. We need American energy sources brought to you by American ingenuity and produced by American workers. Assignments that we cannot wait to get to work on for you: energy independence and reforming your government. And then there's another mission that is especially close to my heart, and that is to help our families who have children with special needs. Because for too long, children with special needs have been set apart and excluded and made to feel that there isn't a part for them here in the life of our country, and that attitude is a disservice to these beautiful children and their families and our country, and I'm going to work to change it. And John and I, we have a vision of an America where every innocent life counts and where everyone has a chance to contribute. We have a vision of an America where every child is cherished. That's the spirit that we want to bring to Washington. And now as governor, I've secured more assistance and funding for our students with special needs. But as vice president, I get to do so much more for our families. And I want to make sure that our children and all our families in the U.S. understand that they will have a friend and an advocate in the White House. Is coming soon. It's going to come down to the wire. This is a close race, and it's going to come down to what we believe in. And what we believe in, John McCain and I, is what Ronald Reagan believed in. We believe in the forward movement of freedom and not the constant expansion of government, and we believe that those virtues of freedom are worth fighting for. And we believe that the best of America is not all gathered in Washington, D.C. We believe that it is here in the goodness and the kindness and the courage of everyday, hard-working Americans who run our factories and grow our food and teach our children and fight our wars. This is where the goodness of America is. America is not the problem. America is the solution. Yes. We believe that America is that shining city on a hill that Reagan used to speak of, and I thank God that we have a man who is ready and worthy to lead it. He is someone who inspires us with heroic and trustworthy deeds and not just words. And if you believe in what we believe in, if you're ready to shake things up in Washington and clean up Wall Street, and if you're ready to get our economy back on the right track and to win the war, then we need your vote. Because Pennsylvania, from now until Election Day, you're going to hear our opponents go on and on in their claims of how they'll fight for you. And since he won't usually say this on his own behalf, I'll say it for him, for my running mate. In this campaign, there is only one man who has ever really fought for you. To keep on fighting for you. That man is John McCain. Thank you for supporting him. God bless you.